It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
Hi, you're watching Sports This Week. I'm Rupa Ramani and I'm bringing you the top stories from the world of sports in the week that was. India and Pakistan locked horns again, but this time not on the field, rather off it. Cheap tactics, dirty politics and empty threats from Pakistan have robbed all the headlines. And with the big final around the corner, tension is escalating. It's not just Pakistan's cricketers making controversial celebrations. Their under-17 football side has followed suit. Are cricketers to be blamed for such acts, and are they making bad role models? India, meanwhile, is gearing up to host two legends. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi will both visit the country later this year after the Hong Kong fallout that tarnished Messi's image, who will win over 1.4 billion Indian fans. Botswana made history at the World Athletics Championships, becoming the first African nation to win gold in the men's 4x400-meter relay event. But behind the celebration lies a story of struggle, poverty, crisis and challenges that shaped this nation beyond its diamonds. And finally, football is turning into a political war. Europe is demanding Israel's ban from the sport. America, meanwhile, is digging in, vowing to block any such move. Will FIFA stand with Europe or bow down to the US? All this and more coming up on Sports This Week. Pakistan have somehow crawled their way into the Asia Cup final. They scraped past Bangladesh by just 11 runs last evening, setting up yet another India versus Pakistan face-off. One tournament, three battles, hundreds of controversies, and with every game, the rivalry has become less about cricket and more about drama, dirty politics, and bizarre distraction tactics from Pakistan. And now, with only 2 days to go for the grand final, the tension is boiling over. Everyone's involved: the fans, the players, the boards, and even the governing body, the ICC. India captain Surya Kumar Yadav had to submit to a hearing yesterday. The Pakistan Cricket Board filed a complaint against him, accusing him of making political statements. And what was this so-called political remark? It was dedicating a win to the Indian Army after the Pahalgam terror attack when they won the first match against Pakistan. If the players' simple tribute is political, then what about Pakistan? This is the same PCB that dedicated their entire Pakistan Super League to their army. So if Sky's comment crossed the line, wasn't that an even bigger statement? But despite the hypocrisy, the ICC called the Indian skipper in. Now notice the words, could be seen as political. This wasn't about cricket. The gestures that their own cricketers made during a game was not about cricket, which is why BCCI filed a complaint with the ICC. These weren't cricket celebrations or even healthy banter. This was politics on the pitch. So if Surya Kumar Yadav gets a warning and fines are levied, what's ICC going to do about Pakistan's open display of political symbolism? Maybe ICC shouldn't just stop with the players, because Pakistan's own cricket boss, Mohsin Naqvi, Pakistan's interior minister too, has been making a political mockery of this. Naqvi himself posted Cristiano Ronaldo's plane crash celebration hours after Roff demonstrated it on the field. If that's not political, then what is? Clearly, Clearly, Pakistan needs to clean up its own backyard before pointing fingers at India. Shaheen Afridi, before the Bangladesh clash, had a bold message for India, saying, "See you in the final." Well, congratulations, Afridi and Pakistan, you made it. But the problem, what next? According to their fans and his own teammate, Haris Rauf, it is revenge time. Once again, Haris Rauf is in the headlines. Rauf shook his hand, smiled and agreed. But maybe Rauf has forgotten. Before the tournament, he promised fans Pakistan would beat India 3 times, including the finals. So far, Pakistan have lost to India twice of both the matches that they played against them. And Rauf knows better than anyone how difficult it is to back up big words against this Indian side. That was the last game, a very fiery opening spell, and of course, in the end, two Indian youngsters rattled Rauf and his teammates. But forget India, Pakistan barely survived against Bangladesh. If not for Bangladesh choking, we'd be talking about an India versus Bangladesh final right about now. But try telling that to Pakistan. They keep making loud threats while India keeps answering with strong performances. This is the difference. Pakistan thrives on statements, stunts and unnecessary jibes. India thrives on belief and results. And now as we head into the Asia Cup final, one thing is certain. If Pakistan wants to prove they're more than just noise, they'll need more than handshakes, more than antics, more than machine gun celebrations. Because this Indian team has shown time and again that when the pressure is truly intense, they don't fall for the politics. They rise above it. We're talking of the impact of Pakistan cricket team's performance and their defeat to India at the Asia Cup. Their under-17 football side is a prime example of that, grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons. A disturbing moment unfolded during the SAF under-17 championship clash between arch-rivals India and Pakistan. Midway through the game, Pakistan's youngsters mocked India with a celebration that was tasteless at best, inflammatory at worst. But as fate would have it, that very celebration backfired because when the whistle blew, Pakistan had lost again. It raises a big question. What sort of role models are Pakistan's cricketers to the next generation? And are they setting the right example for the rest to follow, creating a domino effect they now don't seem to know how to control? Because what we saw in the SAF Championship wasn't an isolated incident. It was a mirror image of how India-Pakistan contests have shaped up recently. Every time the two countries meet, irrespective of the sport, a pattern emerges. Geopolitical tensions fuel the fire. Pakistan resorts to theatrics. India responds with wins, often emphatic, often clinical. And the difference in grace, that's massive. India's teams stand up for their values, let their performance on the field do all the talking. Pakistan, they fall back on immature gestures, loud noise and empty drama. Like the infamous tea celebration, a reference to an Indian pilot. Yes, ties have been impacted post-Pahalgam. Yes, emotions are raw, but do you see Indian athletes mocking tragedies or making crass political references on a sporting field? It's only been Pakistan, and football isn't the only stage where this is playing out. Earlier this year, at the Asia Oceania Junior Davis Cup, a Pakistani junior tennis player's aggressive gesture against India went viral.
I'm doing it normally, bro. I'm not mad at you.
The This was just days after India and Pakistan were engaged in armed conflict post the terror attack. That anger spilled straight onto the tennis court, proving one thing: Pakistan cannot and will not separate sports from politics. And who inspires these youngsters? Clearly, the cricket heroes in Pakistan. The cricket team may not be world beaters anymore, but cricket is still the country's biggest sporting discipline, and every antic by their players, every act becomes a template for the next generation. Look no further than the Asia Cup clash just a few days ago. Machine gun celebrations, mocking fans with 6-0 taunts, alluding to their military operations. It's all fanning fire instead of focusing on the game. If your national heroes behave this way, is it any surprise that kids will only copy? And it doesn't stop at the current generation. Even Pakistan's legends have never drawn a line between politics and sport. Shahid Afridi, dressed in army fatigues, mixing political propaganda with cricket. His tweets, the dramatic display, all designed only to provoke. Mohammad Yusuf openly calling the Indian captain a pig on national television. These are the role models young Pakistanis grew up watching and listening to. So what do they do when it's their turn? They imitate, they mimic, they repeat the same things that are being said and done. And that's where the contrast with India couldn't be starker. Indian athletes, from cricket to football to tennis, athletics, have dealt with the same tensions, the same political climate. But their answer has always been simple: win on the field, show dignity off it. For Pakistan, though, it's been the opposite. When skill fails, they turn to antics. When results don't come, they rely on noise. And when they lose, they hide behind excuses. The SAF Under-17 controversy was not just about a football celebration. It reflected the mindset of a sporting culture that is rotting from top down. Until Pakistan learns humility, discipline and respect, every sport, every tournament will end the same way. Football's greatest rivalry isn't done just yet. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi may be nearing the final chapters of their careers, but before they hang up their boots, a brand new battlefield is emerging. Not in Europe, not in South America, but in Asia. And the next stop is India, where the fight isn't for goals, trophies or titles, it's for something far bigger: supremacy in the world's most populated country. And given everything that's happened, the controversy in Hong Kong, the frenzy in Saudi Arabia, the madness in Miami, the question is simple: will Ronaldo dominate Asia again, or can Messi make a comeback? By the end of 2025, India will be the epicenter of a rivalry the world has lived for nearly 2 decades. But here's the twist in the tale: the two legends won't even face each other for this one. Cristiano Ronaldo and Al Nassr will play FC Goa in the AFC Champions League 2. That's happening in October, and it's happening in Goa. Then in November, Lionel Messi is expected to visit the Indian state of Kerala for a friendly. And just weeks later, in December, Messi lands in Mumbai for another mega event. Different months, different stadiums, different competitions, but one common denominator: India's football fans. Sure, India is still finding its feet in the global sport. The national side is beginning to rebuild under Khalid Jamil. They've had a horrid last 1 year. The ISL has just survived months of uncertainty, but that doesn't matter, because India has what counts: a gigantic football fan base, just like the rest of the world. Messi and Ronaldo aren't just players here, they're religions. That wasn't Buenos Aires, that wasn't Rio. That was India. Brazil versus Argentina, and fan battles in the Indian state of Kerala turned into mini riots there, proving passion doesn't base itself on geography. So imagine the kind of fire that's bound to be lit when both Messi and Ronaldo come here, and back to back. But here's the challenge. Messi hasn't cracked Asia. Last year, Inter Miami's Hong Kong tour turned into a bit of a disaster. Fans paid huge money, waited hours, only to see Messi sit out the match. The backlash was brutal. You saw the sequence of events that happened there, ending with Messi's apology. The same fans who worshipped him turned against him overnight. The damage was done despite the apology. Now compare that to Ronaldo. The Portuguese star featured in Saudi's Super Cup match in Hong Kong. He didn't win the title, but he won the crowd. He played, he engaged, he showed up. Now has been named captain for the side in the game against FC Goa, and that's the difference. Right now, Ronaldo rules the Asian market. He knows the stage, the platform, he knows his fans. So when he walks out in Goa, odds are he will play, he will deliver, and he will own the spotlight. But don't write Messi off just yet. This time, the Argentine is arriving in India with a bit of a plan. He knows the Hong Kong fiasco dented his image. He knows he can't afford another misstep, so he's begun crisis management. And how? Rather dramatically. On Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 75th birthday, Messi signed and sent over his World Cup winning jersey, a gesture straight from the 2022 triumph. And reports say Messi will not only visit India, but also meet Prime Minister Modi. That's Messi's game plan to win the political and emotional narrative even before setting foot on Indian soil. So here's what we're heading towards. On one side, there's Cristiano Ronaldo, the showman, the performer, the crowd pleaser. On the other, Lionel Messi, the magician, the record breaker, the world champion, seeking redemption in front of Indian fans after one of his biggest PR nightmares in Asia. Two legends, 2 months apart, one country and one question: who will wow India? And while Messi and Ronaldo battle for supremacy, the real winner could just be Indian football. After struggles with the ISL, the years of underperformance and questions over fan enthusiasm, the arrival of the two legends could really be that game changer. It could finally inject the energy Indian football really desperately needs. So while the two fight to win India over, the real winner is the football aspirations of a country that wants to punch up. Botswana has done the unthinkable. They scripted history when their men's 4x400 meter relay team stormed to gold at the World Athletics Championships. They became the first African nation ever to win gold in this discipline. The victory sent shockwaves across the sporting world, and celebrations back home hit fever pitch. So much so that the president himself declared national public holiday. Imagine that. But this win wasn't just about glory on the track. It's a story of redemption, it's about resilience, and it's about a continent's unrelenting hunger to succeed. For decades now, Africa has been the heartbeat of global athletics. Raw hunger aside, the natural talent alone in the continent is unmatched. But the truth is, the success stories have remained limited to specific events. You see Kenya dominant in middle and long distance track events, Ethiopia a powerhouse in 5,000, 10,000 meters and marathons. Uganda, Joshua Cheptegei has put the nation on the global map. But apart from these few brilliant narratives, Africa has struggled to break new ground. And for a continent this massive, with over 1.5 billion people, the lack of wider dominance is a little tough to comprehend. That's why Botswana's relay triumph wasn't just celebrated, it was hailed as historic for all of Africa.
I'll be sure to tell everyone, Botswana's natural diamonds are not just in the ground, they are our world champion athletes.
That's a powerful statement and a clever metaphor, because diamonds are at the very core of Botswana's story. The country is among the top diamond producers in the world. But here's the catch: those very diamonds are both a boon and a curse. More than 70% of Botswana's exports depend on this single resource. And when global demand drops, so does Botswana's economy. This overdependence has left the country vulnerable. And beyond economics, the special challenges are massive. The fifth highest Gini coefficient globally, meaning extreme inequality. 17.2% of the population is multidimensionally poor. 23.6% unemployment rate, especially severe among the youth. Highest adult HIV prevalence rate in the world. Nearly 1 in 5 adults live with HIV. The numbers don't just tell a story of poverty, they scream of disparity. A country where the wealth of diamonds sits in sharp contrast with the struggle of everyday citizens. And yet, this is what makes Botswana's sporting triumphs that much more special, because they are not born from privilege, but from persistence. The same spirit that fights drought, poverty and unemployment every single day is pushing boundaries on the racetrack. Before this relay win, Botswana had already shown glimpses of what they can possibly do. At the Paris Olympics last year, it was Letsley Tebogo who shocked the world, winning the nation's first ever Olympic gold in the 200 meters event. Tebogo is just 22 years old and is already being compared to legends like Usain Bolt. Now add this 4x400 meter relay gold to that and suddenly Botswana is no longer a minnow. They're a nation to watch out for in the athletic sphere at least. But think about it, if a country battling such enormous social and economical challenges can still produce world champions, imagine what they could achieve with proper investment, some exposure and facilities, the infrastructure. It's not just Botswana's victory, it's a reminder to the world that Africa is sitting on a treasure trove of untapped sporting potential. And when that potential finds the right stage, the results can be earth-shattering. Botswana's gold means much more than a medal. It's proof that adversity can breed greatness, that a country written off for its poverty, its health struggles, can still stand tall against some of the best in the world. Every public holiday they declare after these victories isn't just a celebration of the wins, it's a celebration of their spirit, of resilience and of hope. The world's biggest sporting event, the 2026 FIFA World Cup, is already in the middle of a geopolitical storm. The fault line, Israel. Europe's governing body UEFA is under mounting pressure to ban Israel over the Palestine conflict, but standing directly in their path is the United States, co-host of the World Cup and Israel's strongest ally. The US has made it clear any attempt to ban Israel will be blocked. Will football's governing bodies bend to Europe's outrage or America's pressure? Our next report takes a closer look.
The war in West Asia has spilled onto sporting grounds, and the epicenter of that battle is Europe. Every Israeli fixture, be it football, cycling, basketball, or even tennis, is now being overshadowed by protests, walkouts, and angry demonstrations. For fans, these games are no longer just about sport. They've become flashpoints for political resistance. But football is where the noise is the loudest. It began with Norway formally calling for Israel's suspension, then Spain, Italy, Ireland, and even Belgium. One by one, voices rose.
Israel cannot continue to use any international platform to whitewash its image.
UEFA is under growing pressure from its members to treat Israel the same way it treated Russia. The push intensified after a United Nations commission accused Israel of committing genocide against Palestinians. Reports now suggest that most UEFA members are in favor of expulsion. But here's the catch. America has already drawn its red line. This puts FIFA in an impossible position. Remember, when UEFA banned Russia in 2022, FIFA immediately followed suit. Russia's exclusion continues to this day. Now, with Israel, UEFA is leaning towards the same path. But the US, a World Cup host, says absolutely not. And European nations like Spain are even threatening to boycott the World Cup if Israel is allowed to participate. So the dilemma is sharp. Does FIFA risk losing a World Cup winner like Spain and alienating its European market? Or does it risk angering its most powerful partner, the United States, and its close friend, Donald Trump? Since America bagged hosting rights for 2026, Infantino and Trump have built a close alliance. Trump has personally pushed the World Cup as proof of America's global reach. Infantino, too, has leaned on Trump to secure visas, logistics, and political backing. And so far, FIFA has consistently sided with Washington. Take the case of Iranian fans. The US banned them from traveling for matches. FIFA didn't resist. It accepted the compromise that only players would be allowed to travel, not fans. That set a precedent. If FIFA caved then, what's stopping them from caving now on Israel? But the stakes here are much bigger. Europe is FIFA's beating heart. It's where the game's biggest leagues, sponsors, and fan bases are. Every World Cup needs Europe's audience to succeed. Ignore them, and FIFA risks boycotts, stadium protests, even empty seats. But defy America, and FIFA risks a political disaster with its own host nation. This is not just sport anymore. It's global geopolitics playing out on a football pitch. Israel's future in international football has now become the litmus test for FIFA's independence. Do they stand with Europe and uphold human rights concerns? Or do they side with America and preserve political ties? Here's the irony. The 2026 World Cup was meant to unite football's biggest markets, North America and Europe. Instead, it may drive a wedge right down the middle. On one side, UEFA members saying Israel must go. On the other, the United States insisting Israel stays. And in between stands FIFA, once again caught between money, politics, and morality. And that choice could change football forever.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka-karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
4 dolar idioma.
Portuguese,
Por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select a language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.